All you Ford fans out there that have a 5.0 under the hood, you really need to get a shirt like this. .5 Coyote. This is what I wear to the car shows. Gets a lot of attention. Unless I'm driving a Chevy, then it doesn't look so good. If I remember, I'll put a link down there somewhere to show you where you can buy these. They're not that expensive. We're at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're driving this week. Well, it looks like we snagged a nice 2021 Ford Mustang with nice yellow paint. I like yellow paint, sometimes. And it's a Mach 1. We'll explain the difference between that and the Mustang GT later on in the video. There's a hint though, the Mach 1 cost a bit more money. And here's the side view with a bit more graphics for you. You can see by the exhaust there's something special under the hood. First thing I want to do when I get a vehicle is check in the trunk and see if there's a spare tire. Nope. Just a cheesy tire repair kit. Lots of room to put other stuff though. Ford says they do this to save weight because it's a performance car. I suspect it has something to do with saving a bit of money too. And the second thing we want to do is check out the headlights and see how they perform in the dark. We'll do that right now. It's dark enough, let's see what these lights do. And I see when you open the door, the little Mustang picture goes on the pavement so everybody in the parking lot will know you're driving a Mustang. Well, you're getting something for your 60 grand. And here's what the reverse camera looks like in the dark. Not the sharpest I've ever seen, but it will do. And here we have the low beams on a building 100 feet away, pretty bright. Height, average. Now we got the high beams. Pretty strong in the middle. And here we have the brights on a fence 80 yards away and the building behind it 130 yards away. Lights up pretty good, go low beam. Pretty good. No complaints from me. We're already out and about, so let's do some more driving and more headlight tests. Give me an excuse to burn up some gas. Well, cruising between 70 and 75 miles per hour. 23.5 mpg. So now at least we know what the real world fuel economy is. On the highway anyhow. Okay, we're out in the country. As you can see, the low beams slightly disappear in the pavement when you enter a dip. Nothing serious though. Here are the high beams. Some real good distance. And here we have another dip. Brights on, low beam. You definitely need a good set of headlights out here, especially with all the mountain lions and skunks. I've hit quite a few of the latter. It's no fun. Car corner's pretty good. Well, that concludes our headlight test. Time to go back into town and get this video started in the daylight. This is not the type of vehicle you want to be driving in wet weather, even with traction control. There's a lot of horsepower with those rear wheels, and traction is still rather tricky. Oh well, our night drive and headlight test is over. It's going to be daylight soon, so when it dries out, we will resume the test. Whoa. Go, baby. And if you're going to email me and say, what is this hole for? I'm embarrassed to say I don't know. I thought it was for a headlight. I guess we're not going to get one. I thought it might be an air intake for the supercharged Mustang. If I find out before the video's over, I'll tell you. Moving up, we do have a functional scoop on the left for cooling the oil and a functional scoop for cooling the transmission fluid. One of the standard features of the Mach 1. Okay, what's the difference between the Mustang GT V8 and the Mach 1 V8? Well, first of all is price. The base Mustang with the Turbo 4 is around $28,000. The GT with the 460 horsepower V8 is $38,000. And this one starts at $55,000. In all fairness, you get a lot more standard equipment on the Mach 1 versus on the GT where it's optional. So the price difference is a bit thinner than those figures I just gave you. So let's take a close look at the price sheet. Instead of showing a paper price tag off the window, I thought I'd do a digital price tag for you. Gives a much better view. Here's your equipment. Most of it's standard. Here's your option sheet. A lot of goodies we really don't need, but get anyway. Plus destination and delivery. By the way, it's made at Flat Rock, USA. And that's what it's going to cost to get one. At least like mine. And here's the government safety ratings for those who care about things like that. So on the front end, we get things you don't get on the GT. The Brembo heavy-duty brakes, a stiffer front end, heavy-duty cooling system, sway bars. And we get components from the Mustang GT350 race car, a beefed-up subframe, stiffer bushings for starts. There's also a heavy-duty 3.73 ratio rear end, which gives better acceleration times. We also get the Ford Magna-Ride suspension. You can't read the labels because of the outside glare. Once again, car makers give me a shiny chrome. I guess they think we like shiny chrome. I don't. All it does is reflect glare, but here's the mode selector. Sport, track, snow, wet, normal. And the second button from the right adjusts the steering feel. Feel only, the ratio is still the same. And here to disconnect the traction control. The standard transmission is a 6-speed manual, and no, it's not the same one that you get in the Mustang GT or the Mustang Bullet. Those aren't very strong and they don't take very hard use well. Instead, you get the heavy-duty unit borrowed from the GT350 Mustang that holds up quite well. Or you get this 10-speed automatic, which makes the car slightly quicker and easier to live with in day-to-day driving. I don't have a problem with a 10-speed transmission. I do have a problem with the finish on here. Shiny chrome might look cool, but it doesn't feel cool when you put your hand on it after sitting in the sun all day. Not good, and the glare that reflects goes right in your eyes. Once again, registering my complaint with shiny chrome inside car interiors. I don't know why manufacturers do it. Well, okay, we know why they do it, because it looks cool. But it's kind of dumb, and I wish they would stop. I don't mean just Ford, I mean a whole bunch of manufacturers that put stuff like this on. It needs to go away. What is a big deal is the glare that reflects off the gauge cluster. Right now I'm in the shade. So let's get out of the shade and go in the sun. Can you read that? I can't. Again, I'm not picking on Ford here. I see this problem on a lot of different vehicles made by different companies. And what puzzles me, how did this go from design to production with nobody noticing? Especially Ford, they have a test facility in Arizona where the sun shines almost 100% of the time. No one noticed this? It's these plastic covers they put on at weird angles, and it just doesn't make any sense. And what's sad, this is otherwise a very nice gauge cluster. Very pleasant view when you can see it. And with the push of a button, you can change the format you're looking at too. Now we'll put it back to normal. By the way, you can control the exhaust noise. Normal for everyday driving, sport if you want to impress everybody at the burger stand and wake up the dead, and quiet so you don't disturb your neighbors when you start the vehicle at 4 in the morning. And the track mode. Let's listen to the exhaust in the quiet mode. Now we'll try the sport mode. One thing I really like about Mustangs, they have the traditional manual parking brake, and yeah, it takes up a lot of room, but I don't care. A manual parking brake is always better than the junk, garbage electronic parking brakes. Don't get me started on that subject. I'll be on the video for half an hour bitching about that. And automakers say they do away with these because it takes up so much room. Well, that's not true, because you can put a manual parking brake down by the floor where they used to be as well. We don't need electronic parking brakes. They malfunction, they're unreliable, bad, good. Here's what that nice V8 looks like under the hood. Well, you can see it under all this plumbing, those poor mechanics if they have to work on this. Not going to be cheap, I'll tell you that. The air cleaner is almost as impressive as the motor. In ideal weather and excellent pavement, a 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds is easy on these V8 Mustangs. Even less if you're a good driver. But today with the weather we're having, I don't know if we can do that. So let's do some 0 to 60 runs and see what happens. I've driven a lot of Mustangs with this engine. I know 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds is very common. But I have two things going against me today. Number one, it's very hot outside, around 106 degrees. And it's going to get hotter, so the pavement's kind of soft on the street. Plus, it's been raining all week, so the pavement's kind of damp too. So this is the best time I've been able to get. Lots and lots of wheel spin, very, very little traction. I know 4.5 seconds is very easy in very good conditions, and we just don't have that today. Like we do in all of my videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 20 miles per hour to evaluate the suspension performance and impact. We have this in the normal mode. Bump number 1. Pretty smooth. Some thumping from the big tires, but you expect that. Number 2. Number 3. Now this one's a nasty one coming up. Yeah, I felt that one, but no big deal. These shocks did a great job of cushioning everything. Just a note here, even though the suspension does an excellent job of absorbing impacts over speed bumps and potholes, if you're driving on rough pavement, especially on the freeway, you feel almost every crack, bump comes up right up through the frame and into the cabin. And I suspect the reason for that is because we have the subframe and hard bushings from the GT350 race car. And that would explain it. It would also explain why you shouldn't be taking long highway trips in this. If you're going to do that, you're probably better off with the Mustang GT with the softer components. This wasn't made for long highway trips. It's more of a street racer, and that's what you get. We're going to take a backcountry road trip. But before we hit that area, we have to stop and say hi to Freddy the Frog, because this is his territory, and if you don't stop and say hello, it's bad luck. What's up, Freddy? They get real big out here. I think it's the water. All right. to go. If you like taking corners in a hurry, just flip it in sport mode. Works great with the transmission too. Shifts in a hurry. If you want to choose gears manually, there's paddle shifters on the steering wheel for that, but if you put the automatic transmission in sport mode, it's going to shift faster than what your fingers is going to be doing on the paddle shifters. But your choice. Take your pick. Another gasoline pit stop. Using expensive super premium, of course. You would think after 50-something years of designing the Mustang, you'd get a bigger tank than 16 gallons. It doesn't go very far when you have a big V8 engine. I just filled this tank 18 miles ago, and here's what I have left on the range, which means I have to start looking for a station around 160 miles from now. We need a bigger gas tank in these Mustangs, Ford. Just a few gallons more, please. Ooh, vultures gnawing on a carcass. Yuck. That I just ran over. For those interested, if you're cruising at 75 miles per hour, the RPM runs around 2,000. I don't know what the 6-speed manual does. I can only show you what the 10-speed automatic does. It's been a while since I've driven the 6-speeds, and I don't remember what they did. That's why you get with the 10-speed on the freeway. If you watch my videos, you know where this is, a dead man's road. No guardrails on the right, rock slides on the left, cows standing in the middle of the road. It can be very dangerous if you're driving fast and you have a car that's not geared for this, but I don't think we're going to have a problem with the Mustang. We got a good suspension here and nice brakes. I forgot to mention earlier in the video, there's a handling package available for the Mach1. Includes some beef suspension parts, bigger wheels and tires, rear spoiler. Runs around $3,500 extra. If you're going to drive the car hard, you might want to order that, but that would bring the price up to around $63,000. Getting expensive. So, question of the day. If you're going to buy a Mustang with a V8, should you get the Mustang GT or the Mustang Mach1? I calculated some numbers, and if the GT is loaded with everything and the Mach1 is loaded with everything, there's approximately $10,000 difference. If you're going to drive your Mustang hard, then the heavy-duty equipment you get with the Mach1 is probably worth the extra cost. The durability will pay in the long run. But if you don't have a lead foot and intend to use the vehicle mainly for daily transportation, the GT works just fine. Of course, I suspect we really want the Shelby Cobra Mustang. What's the horsepower on that? 680, I think? 700, I forgot. And that's a lot more money. But that's another video. I'm trying to get one of those soon. Here's some links to other American muscle cars we've driven lately. Just click and watch. Hey, I could use another refrigerator. I wonder if that would fit in the Mustang's trunk.